Hey, what is up everyone? So I got a chance to try out Sea of Thieves on the PS5 and really test out a lot of the special features available with this new version of the game. The PlayStation version has some features only on this version, and I was very intrigued to try them out. Mainly I was interested in testing the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers on the new system. So in this video I want to share my experience with the game on PlayStation and talk about the new features that have been integrated into the Sea of Thieves experience. Before that though, I just want to point out the new menu screen for the closed beta with new music as well. This was a great surprise to see, and I absolutely love the nostalgic vibes this gives me for when I first started playing Sea of Thieves back in 2018. The music is also amazing. While Rare always does a great job, this one just helps build the hype for Season 12. And if you haven't heard it yet, the music in the background of this video is the new menu music. So to start off, I wanted to test out the adaptive triggers on each of the different guns. I found the resistance when pulling the trigger to be quite annoying and not something I would want to use when playing. It's cool for a moment to show off to others, but when it comes to just normally playing, I didn't like it. I think it makes shooting more difficult and not that enjoyable of an experience. So for me, that was a bit disappointing. I found the adaptive triggers to feel better with the harpoon gun being lighter resistance and made more sense for that type of tool. I'll talk more about the haptics in a moment, but with the harpoon, I wish they had done more with the haptic feedback to make it feel like the harpoon was shooting out and retracting. One area that they did do well with the adaptive triggers was with rowing a rowboat. This, unlike the weapons, felt just right for the rowboat and added resistance like if you were pushing against the water. I do wish this adapted better to the type of water you're in, for example adding more resistance in choppy water as opposed to calmer ones. Another cool use of the adaptive triggers is when you're repairing a hole, if you go down and you have the water rushing in, it will actually make your trigger vibrate going back and forth as if the water's rushing in. I thought that was a really nice little touch, and it definitely uses the adaptive triggers in a better way than some of the other examples that we already talked about. But in general, I wish we saw better use of the adaptive triggers, like say with turning on and off your lantern, making it feel like you're flicking a switch on and off, but it's okay, I guess. I found in my testing of the haptic feedback to be more impressive, albeit a little half-baked. For example, raising the anchor felt really cool where it really did feel like the anchor was rising as I pulled it up. Other things like steering the wheel felt pretty similar to a regular Xbox controller, and I think they could have utilized the haptics a bit more with this. Similar stuff like loading and firing a cannon felt the same as well. Firing yourself out of a cannon had no haptics, which was disappointing since that could have been a really cool use case for this feature. Another disappointment was lighting a gunpowder keg. I wish there was some kind of haptic when you have the fuse lit, but sadly there was nothing. Playing instruments was the same thing where it had no haptics as well. This was very disappointing because it would make a lot of sense to utilize the haptic technology to make it feel like you're strumming the banjo or playing the hurdy-gurdy. Even just the drum would make sense to have haptics to it. Moving on, I also tried out one of the tridents in the game to test out the haptics with that, and it was essentially the exact same as playing with an Xbox controller. I also hoped that the sword would receive some nice haptic feedback when it came to fighting enemies, but sadly it got nothing. Probably my favorite thing that I found when testing the haptic feedback was if you have a cannonball shooting near your ship, you will actually feel like the way that that cannonball is going in relation to where you are. So the best way I can describe this is similar if you have headphones on, where you can hear like whether the cannonball is behind you or in front of you or to the side of you or something like that. It's essentially doing the same thing but with the controller. And it's a really cool feeling, and it's really kind of hard to describe, but if you imagine it similar to how you experience sound with the headphones on, it will give you an idea of what this is like. So that's probably my favorite thing they've done with the haptic feedback in the game. I would love to see more instances like that, but that was a really cool thing. I would love to see if we get more stuff in the future. I haven't got to test it out too much because I didn't really get into too many fights or anything, and I didn't really experience it with the AI that I was fighting, but it would be cool if they had like a similar effect with, say, if a bullet shot near you or hit you or something. That would be a cool use case of like a similar idea. Overall, there were some nice use cases with the haptic feedback, but in general it just was underutilized and could have been a lot better implemented. One thing that did surprise me though was when you kill an opponent, it would make the kill sound on the TV speaker as well as the controller itself. Not sure if I like this feature or not, but it was definitely an interesting one, and it caught me by surprise. Taking a look at the controls themselves, I do find it a bit weird to use. If you're used to playing on the PlayStation, you shouldn't have an issue with the controls, but coming from someone used to an Xbox Elite controller, it was a big change. The button that would normally be used for the settings menu is now a capture button on the PlayStation, and I kept accidentally clicking on it just out of muscle memory. Other than that, it's somewhat more limiting without the back buttons that I'm used to with the Elite controller. Obviously not a big issue, but just wanted to fully explain my experience with this version of the game. Outside of those two things, it's pretty similar to a regular Xbox controller. The only thing I really didn't get to test was inviting friends from other platforms. However, it should work similar to other multi-platform games where you just invite them inside of Sea of Thieves. For the PlayStation version, you have to connect your Microsoft account, which is a pretty easy process. However, once it's linked, it cannot be unlinked. One thing that I did find annoying when I got on the beta that I wasn't expecting for the most part, because we knew that there was going to be some stuff that was limited with the cosmetics, I wasn't expecting to have this not be available. So when I got onto the beta, I noticed that something was off with my character, and I couldn't figure out what until I decided to go to the clothing chest and change my outfit. It was there that I realized, hey, where's my jacket? And I realized my Black Dog jacket, which was my pre-order bonus all the way back in 2018 when I first started playing the game, that was missing. I couldn't find it in my clothing chest, it wasn't there, and then I realized, wait, not only is the Duke ship set locked from PlayStation, but even the pre-order cosmetics from back then, which I guess makes sense because if the pre-order cosmetics on PlayStation are not going to be available on other platforms, then I guess the reverse also makes sense that that's going to be what happens here. But regardless, I found that very aggravating because I love wearing that jacket, so the fact that I can't actually wear the clothes I would normally wear on my pirate is very frustrating to me. Also, just to ensure that it wasn't just the jacket being weird, I went and looked for my Black Dog sword. That was also not available in the armory, so I couldn't wear that. So this was just very disappointing in my opinion, and I really just don't like this cosmetic blocking that having for the platforms. I know a lot of people didn't understand what I was talking about in last week's video when we were talking about this, but if you own a cosmetic, it should be yours to use, especially when up until now, up until before it went on PlayStation, the presumption was wherever you had that cosmetic, it was available on your account no matter what device you're on. If you're on your phone, if you're on an Xbox, if you're on PC, whether it's the Windows version or Steam, it didn't matter. It was available everywhere. It should have been the same with PlayStation. So you have on the one side where the PlayStation cosmetics that I have bought aren't going to be able to be used on my PC. Now the cosmetics that I am used to and have grown attached to are not going to be able to be used on the PlayStation. And it's also very weird because, so a lot of the comments that I got on that video last week were in regards to, oh, well, PlayStation should have cosmetics that you can only use on that device because everyone else got adventures and time-limited cosmetics that were available before, which, by the way, is a very stupid argument because those, like they say, are time-limited and are just for playing the game during that time. They weren't platform exclusive. The issue right now that I'm talking about is locking the cosmetics that you already have unlocked on your account based off the device you're playing on. I'm not talking about how you unlock it or when did you unlock it. It's specifically talking about cosmetics that you own. So bringing up however many cosmetics that Xbox players have had access to doesn't matter. Anyways, that was just something that I found very annoying. It's not too surprising based off what we talked about last week, but I really wish Rare, or if they have some kind of agreement with PlayStation, if they would work it out with them, because this is kind of some BS and it doesn't really make me want to buy cosmetics in the game anymore, because who knows what's going to be locked in the future. What if they go on to the Nintendo Switch and they decide, okay, Pirate Emporium cosmetics that are from this date to this date can't be used anymore. I don't think they would do that, but it stands to reason that if they're going to lock cosmetics that you've already purchased, earned, and been using for years now, and they're going to lock it on newer platforms, why wouldn't they do that to other cosmetics that you have? Maybe all of the time-limited adventure cosmetics that we earned are going to be locked, or past season pass cosmetics, maybe those will be locked in the future. Who knows? Where is the line? It doesn't really make sense to me. Like the pre-order bonus that I had for my cosmetics before were not platform exclusive, they were just a pre-order bonus. If you were on PC or Xbox or whatever, you had it on both. So it wasn't like a platform exclusive, not the same way that the PlayStation 1 is. But I just wanted to mention that because it was a big impact to my enjoyment of this beta and the realization that, hey, it's not just the Duke chipset or the PlayStation cosmetics that they were talking about, it's more stuff. And I haven't even got to test that further to see what else is limited. I have a feeling it's probably just that, but I don't know if something like the Ferryman set would be locked or something too, since that's a controller exclusive cosmetic. With all that said, that pretty much covers everything special about the PlayStation version of Sea of Thieves. So far I'm enjoying having another place to play the game on, however nothing I have experienced so far has made me want to change to mainly playing the game on PS5. Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, it'd be great to like and subscribe. Check out this video covering what to try when you're first setting sail, or this video on how to protect yourself while doing a voyage. That's it for this video, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye y'all!